Hello, my dear students. I am Pratibha Diya from the English Lux, and today we will discuss a chapter for students of class 11. Hornbill book, chapter number 1, The Portrait of a Lady, written by Khushwant Singh. And in this chapter, we will discuss introduction, characters, story, theme, and many more things. Outline of our video is author and title, introduction, characters, the story, and conclusion. Let's start. Students, now I am going to tell you about the author of the story. And who is author of the story? Khushwant Singh. Yes, he was an Indian novelist, lawyer, journalist, and politician. He was appointed journalist in the All India Radio in 1951 and then moved to the Department of Mass Communications of UNESCO at Paris in 1956. Khushwant Singh was decorated with the Padam Bhushan in 1974, but he returned the award in 1984 in protest against Operation Blue Star, in which the Indian Army raided Amritsar. In 2007, he was awarded the Padam Vibhushan, the second highest civilian award in India. Title: The Portrait of a Lady. The title of the story, The Portrait of a Lady, is appropriate. The focus is on the grandmother from the beginning to the end. In the true sense, it is a vivid portrait of the grandmother. The author gives a detailed account of the life and personality of a person with whom he had a long emotive association. By giving her graphic portrait, he seems to pay his tribute to his old friend who had a great influence on him. Theme: The Portrait of a Lady. The fact that generation gap is not an unsurpassable gulf is characterized by the fact that a wave of nostalgia overpowers us when we think of the simple and serene days of our childhood spent with parents and grandparents. We might grow up and grow apart, but the morals and principles instilled in us by the older generation refuse to die. We have the theme of innocence, friendship, love, connection, kindness, selflessness, respect, and acceptance. Now, I am going to tell you about the introduction of the Portrait of a Lady. This story is written in first person and is in biographical mode. It is a perception of Khushwant Singh of his grandmother through his own eyes. In this story, the author draws a pen portrait of his grandmother. He beautifully unfolds his relationship with her while describing her appearance and daily activities. The author provides a vivid account of Khushwant Singh's relationship with his grandmother over the years. Main characters of the story are grandmother and author. Grandmother. The narrator's grandmother had been old and wrinkled for 20 years. She had always been short, fat, and slightly bent. The grandmother was a religious lady. She visited the village temple daily and read scriptures. In the village, she fed dogs with stale chapatis, and in the city, she fed sparrows. The grandmother was practical and realistic. She did not behave sentimentally when she saw the author off at the station. When the author returned, she went to the railway station to receive him. She felt extremely happy. When her end was near, she rightly sensed it. She stopped talking. She died in her inaudible prayer. Students, let's discuss about the story The Portrait of a Lady. Khushwant Singh draws a pen portrait of his grandmother. His grandmother was like everybody's grandmother. She was quite an old woman with a wrinkled face. She appeared so old that it was hard to believe that once she had been young and pretty. She was fat and slightly bent. She could not walk straight. The author remembers her moving about the house in spotless white, counting the beads of her rosary, while her lips moved constantly in silent prayers. She was not pretty in the traditional sense, yet her serenity made her beautiful. The narrator and his grandmother were good friends. His parents had left him with her in the village. They were always together. She used to wake him up in the morning. She got him ready for school. She said her morning prayer in an unchanging sing song. She would wash his wooden slate and plaster it with yellow chalk. She would take an earthen ink pot and a red pen. She would tie them in a bundle and hand it to him. She would give him a thick stale chapati with a little butter and sugar spread on it for breakfast. They used to leave for school. Together, they used to go to the school, which was attached to the temple. While the author studied from the priest, the grandmother sat inside reading scriptures. After the school, both walked back home, feeding the dogs with stale chapatis, which the grandmother daily carried with her. The narrator's parents sent for them in the city. It was a turning point in their friendship. They shared the same room. The grandmother no longer went to school with him. The narrator went to an English school in a motor bus. Years rolled by. The grandmother and her grandson saw less of each other. Now, she hated English and science. She felt sad that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures at a new school. She didn't like music lessons, and she was disturbed at the idea of music lessons being given at school. Disapproval was conspicuous in her silence. There were no dogs in the streets. The grandmother took to feeding the sparrows. When the author joined the university, he was given a separate room. The common link of their friendship was snapped, means broken. The grandmother accepted her loneliness quietly, and rarely she spoke to anyone. Grandmother busied herself with her spinning wheel and reciting her prayers all day. She talked rarely. She relaxed only in the afternoon. She enjoyed herself while feeding the sparrows. She would sit in the veranda. She broke the bread into little bits and threw them to the sparrows. Hundreds of sparrows collected round her. Some came and sat on her legs, the other perched on her shoulders. She never drove them away. Feeding the sparrows was the happiest half hour of the day for her. The narrator decided to go abroad for higher studies, and he was confident that she would be upset at his departure. But grandmother was not upset. She came to leave him at the railway station. She didn't show any emotion. She absorbed in her prayers, telling the beads of her rosary. She kissed his forehead silently. The narrator thought it was the last sign of physical contact between them. When the author returned after 5 years, he was surprised to find the grandmother receiving him. There was no change in her appearance. Even that day, the happiest moment of her was feeding the sparrows. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray. In the evening, she collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and began to sing. She tired herself beating the old drum and singing old songs of the homecoming of warriors. The grandmother's death. The next morning, she fell ill. She declared that her end was near. She didn't want to waste any more time talking to them. She lay peacefully in bed. She continued praying and telling her beads. Then her lips stopped moving. The rosary fell down from her lifeless fingers. She was dead. Then she was laid on the ground. Her dead body was covered with a red shroud. It was evening. The sun was setting. They brought a wooden statue. They stopped halfway in the courtyard. Her friends, thousands of sparrows, sat near her dead body. They did not cheer up. Everyone felt sorry for the birds. The narrator's mother brought bread and broke it into little crumbs. She threw those crumbs to them. The birds took no notice to them. When they carried her dead body outside, the sparrows flew away quietly. Next morning, the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin. So, my dear students, this we come to end of this video, and that is conclusion. We can say that author is grateful to her for everything she has done for him and knows that she has made him into the man that he is today. In other words, you can say the story is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother. The writer and his grandmother had a beautiful bond between them and loved each other a lot. The story tells us how beautiful a relationship can become between a grandmother and a grandson. I hope you understood the whole chapter very well. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it will be useful to you. Make sure if you have any suggestion and comments, feel free to write in the comment section, and for more videos, like and subscribe my channel The English Lux, your key to English, and don't forget to hit the bell icon.